Hey, what's going on everybody? NGS back again for another video. Brought the beanie back in for this one. Had to retire that hat right there. While the Russian Eskimo looking like hat doodad thingy was very comfortable and very stylish, it made my head sweat. It made me sweat a lot. Especially when I do videos where I'm focused. And I think the last thing that anybody wants to see is Neo in heat. And that went over a lot better in my head than it did right now. So I guess I should start scripting these things because I think of these like literally 2 seconds before I hit the record button. It's like, boom, that seems funny, but it's really not funny because it makes me look like a creeper on the internet. So, welcome to the interwebs, my friends. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about the Sony press conference. Hashtag see the future. Hashtag PlayStation 2013. Wonder Book 2. Book of Dreams. PlayStation Home finally coming out of beta. The return of the People's Champion, Kevin Butler! So what went down at this event? Well, for all of us people out here who kind of expected what would happen, Final Fantasy is coming to a next-gen system. Ah, shit! Get hyped, everybody. Who would have thunk that Square Enix would take their most popular, their flagship title, and release another installment on a future console? Ah, shit! The hype level is rising! Like Metal Gear Rising. Still have yet to play that game. It came out. I'm going to rent it at some point because I heard that game is like 4 hours long. I'm like, oh, what's going on, Platinum Games? I love you, but god damn, 4 hours of game? No, it's like 300-something minutes long. Whoa. But for all the sensible people out there, I'll touch on that Final Fantasy Square Enix note in a bit because, as you know, my sarcasm level was pretty high. But as expected, Sony unveiled the PlayStation 4. Now, you guys might remember a little while back, I did a video essentially outlining what I thought would go down at this conference. And whether or not they did or did not reveal the PlayStation 4, I think Sony would have a really strong emphasis on the PlayStation universe, building this universe, this hub where you are connected to all things PlayStation, and it would extend past gaming. It would go into social media, it would go into TVs, it would go into all of this stuff. So I guess in the end, I was half right because they spent a lot of time outlining the future in terms of that. Now, for those of you guys who are sweating bullets and cracking jokes and creating memes that Sony didn't debut the actual console itself, yeah, that's actually one of the more popular memes running out, that this is the first time in history where we have an invisible console, where we don't even know what the console looks like. All we have is the controller, so I guess Sony is drawing a lot from the X-Men category, which again, I'll catch on later for those of you guys who already know. I mentioned X-Men and PlayStation. You know what I'm talking about right there. Oh, I know Path and Geoffrey just got happy. But, yeah, in terms of pricing and the actual visual aesthetics of the system, guys, we know this stuff is coming, so why are we making a big deal out of it? The PlayStation 4 is set to release this fall, and we have so many other major events coming out where Sony could unveil the price. And it's kind of obvious for them not to reveal the price at this point, especially considering that the competition, Microsoft, has yet to unveil any of their stuff. And why would they reveal the price now? Like, what would draw the people into E3 then? You know, it's like one of the things under this business hub of things and all that stuff where they're going to debut the look of the console, especially at E3, one of the biggest events of gaming in the year. So we're going to definitely hear about the price in addition to seeing what the console looks like, so we can hold it up right here and it'll be our PlayStation branded trophy. Look at this, the PlayStation 4. It looks even more like a cooking grill. Awesome stuff. But yeah, the system was unveiled and they did talk a lot about the social media features. They're talking about building their PlayStation Skynet hub. Again, BDT87 just hit the floor laughing. Terminator fanboy right there. So I'm going to talk about some of the features that they unveiled. Now, these aren't going to be all the features out there, simply due to 2 reasons. 1, I don't care, and 2, I pretty much forgot some of them. But one of the main things I want to draw your attention to is the ability for you to extend your PlayStation gaming experience to all the other people out there in the real world, on the interwebs anyway. The ability to live stream your games through the PlayStation 4 using Ustream. Why didn't they use Twitch TV? That's beyond me, but right there, I know that is going to make a lot of gamers out there, a lot of console gamers who love to take gaming one step further and show it with all their friends and their audiences, all their crazy skills. So now, you won't have people calling you a hack when you play Call of Duty pre-recorded. You're going to have people calling you a hack when you play Call of Duty live. So all kinds of great stuff are going to happen there, and I can't wait to see what people are going to do with that. In addition to that, in terms of this whole gameplay thing, they also revealed that you're going to be able to capture gameplay footage. So right there, they just stuck it straight to all the people out there who spend all this money buying the capture card. Sony was like, hey, so I heard you like recording gameplay, but you don't like paying $200? Well, our system has the ability. So it's just like, damn, this should have been the system that does everything right there. The ability to record gameplay straight up and be able to share it straight to Facebook. That's just like, whoa, man, seriously. And there was another feature in this whole terms of getting connected with gamers. I don't really know much about this one since it was kind of weird and it just went like so fast that I forgot about it. But there was something about you being able to, if you're stuck in a game, hand the controller over to a friend and he'll help you finish the game. And I'm not talking about a friend on the couch, I'm talking about a person over the internet in another place. While that sounds kind of cool in theory, I don't really know how that is going to pan out too much. It kind of does seem like these console manufacturers want to know every single thing about what we're doing, every single minute of every single hour, every single second of every single... No, I was supposed to say millisecond of every single second and go that way, but I went backwards and I'm now going forwards. It's all stupidness, me trying to be funny, but it's not working out. But in addition to all of those fancy gaming sharing features, we had more talk about Gaikai. As you guys know, Sony announced that they had acquired Gaikai, which is a primarily cloud-based service. So for the PlayStation 4, the Gaikai implementation will be used to stream all PlayStation-related games through the service. So that's PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS Vita games. Now this is where I draw some skepticism. While this is a great feature, I think it's fantastic for us to have the option to do this. How is this going to pan out for backwards compatibility? I've been hearing some rumors from people that backwards compatibility will be regulated through Gaikai, so this is the only way you're going to play PlayStation 3 games on PS4. I don't really like that idea at all, simply due to the fact that you're going to be streaming these massive gigabyte games, and it all depends on your internet connection. Now, I have no problem with this being other games like PS1 or PS2 titles, but PS3 games, that's kind of iffy to me. Mainly all of these features that they announced are kind of iffy to me. While they're great in practice, it seems to me like there could be a lot wrong with this. And like I said, this is just, they only revealed the surface of things. They only gave you enough to get you excited for what's going to come next. So I think we're going to see all the details and specs about this in the coming months, and Sony's going to detail more about it. Now, onto the spec side of things. Sony did come out and reveal the specs of the hardware. This is something that was surprising to me. I think they would have saved this for E3. They would have drawn out all the time to wait to tell people the specs. But they did reveal that the system will have PC-like architecture. That was another thing that was plaguing everybody. Is this system going to have similar architecture to the PS Triple, or will it go more a PC-like route, which is a benefit to the developers and the consumers and all that junk? Well, thankfully, they're going for the latter in this situation, which does bring up the reasons why I'm so concerned about backwards compatibility being regulated through internet streaming. But the system is going for an x86 architecture. It's going to have a GPU and CPU that's on apparently one chip. It's going to be a 8-core CPU, and it's going to have 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now, right there from those specs alone, this is going to be one beefy system. A lot of people are saying that, oh, it's not going to be a big jump in terms of hardware. Yeah, 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. You can definitely see what they're going to be using this for. The system is not going to be this buggy, this slow interface that we had on the PS3. They're going to go towards making everything streamlined, making everything fast, quick, and snappy. And it's definitely relevant when you look at one of their features, the ability to play a game while it's downloading. That is awesome. You download a portion of it, you play that portion, and it downloads and it adds things in tangent. So you wouldn't think that all these features that Sony are implementing, that would take a lot of memory. Hence the reason why they're using 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now, speaking specifically on games, they did have a couple of demos. Some tech demos we already have seen, some tech demos that came out a year ago, some tech demos that a company should have been using to advertise this event over another IP. We're going to talk about Square Enix in a bit. The first game that they showed off was Killzone Shadowfall. This is another installment in the Killzone series, and what better way to show the power of your system than use one of the most graphically intense games of the generation. Killzone is a phenomenally looking game. Gameplay-wise, it's kind of a mixed bag for everybody. Some people like it, some people hate it. me, myself, and I like Killzone 2 a lot. Killzone 3 was kind of fun, but it was overall lackluster in terms of moving the franchise forward. It felt kind of like a step backward. I know a lot of people are saying that the graphical jump does not look that big at all. Personally, I think that it's good because you have to realize, what are you looking at? Now, you guys might mention why when I said that the system is going to be beefy and powerful, I still don't think the jump is going to be as huge as people are thinking. While it is a powerful system, I think they're going to focus on game stability, making sure everything runs optimized, making sure there are no errors of massive screen tearing, all of that junk that really plague the current gen systems. I think they're going to make everything smooth, 1080p, hopefully 60 frames per second. I would hate for it to be 1080p, 30 frames per second, then see it dipping into like 18 or whatever like we have with certain games now. But in terms of Killzone, you could definitely see that the graphics, while they are a step up from Killzone 3, they focused more on the smaller side of things, like the detail of the fire effects, the detailing of like the characters and their actions. You know, you can definitely see where they're utilizing the memory a whole lot. So that looks very good. They also unveiled a driving game, which is called Drive Club, a game that's like 10 years in the making. I was surprised that they're bringing out a Sony racing game, and it's not one of two. It's not Ridge Racer, and it's not Gran Turismo. So what the heck, Sony? What the heck? But anyway, this driving game looks phenomenal. It looks fantastic. If the game looks this good, imagine how great Gran Turismo 6 is going to look. That's awesome. But there were a couple of things in this conference that sort of, I guess, rubbed everyone the wrong way. This is going to go down as one of the most memorable console conferences, but it's not for the reasons that you're expecting. A lot of people think it's memorable in terms of it's really good or it's just so god-awful. But this is going to go down as one of the most awkward experiences. And the guy introducing Drive Club is all I really need to say about it. There was the guy, Mark something, who was the one with the really wide eyes. There was him. But this guy, I think he takes his love for very expensive luxury cars to a whole nother level. Like Kazurai says, we're taking it to the next level. Yeah, people who watch the conference will understand what I'm talking about. Wow, that was awkward. On to the game of the show. The game that just literally blew me away. All I need to know was the developer behind it. Infamous Second Sons. Get hyped, my children. Get hyped. I'm not going to speak more on this, because I'll probably do another video on it. But another Infamous game. Already, Papagio Freed is just on his knees saying thank you. Thank you. And other than that, we saw gameplay of Watch Dogs running on PlayStation 4, confirmed to come to PlayStation 4. That's really awesome. We also learned that Blizzard is developing Diablo 3 for PS3 and PS4. It's kind of odd how, I mean, it's not odd that they're bringing this game over, that Blizzard's finally coming to consoles, because I thought at one point they would, especially with Diablo 3, considering how casual it is in comparison to Diablo 2. I would have thought that the perfect transition from a PC-style game like Diablo would have been the Wii U, especially for an MMO. I would have thought that the gamepad would have just worked perfectly. That or the PlayStation Move controller, but the PlayStation Move, as we know, is irrelevant. Well, not anymore. It looks like Sony wants to use it again. Really, I think Nintendo kind of missed the ball with getting the support of Blizzard, because that would have been fantastic. While Diablo 3 isn't the best game in the world, it's certainly a letdown in comparison to the second title. It's good to see that Sony is definitely getting the support from more than just the usual crowd of developers, because it's easy for people to get disappointed when they see a futuristic shooter or another installment in a franchise that we've seen before, but this was definitely, I guess, a big shocker. And I am pretty sure that I'm not the only one who's kind of creeped out seeing Bungie on stage with Sony. You know, that was just kind of creepy, you know, because it's just like, Xbox fans, we were betrayed! You know, but Destiny, it is what it is, whatever. I can't really say much on it since I don't really have an opinion on it. Now, we're going to move on to my little, I guess you could call it a rant. I'm going to keep this one brief. But Square Enix, why would you spend all this time? Why would you fly over two of your big head honchos to New York? Why would you do all that to show us a tech demo from last year and to make an announcement that you're going to announce a Final Fantasy game at E3? I thought Perfume! 2 days before! Building hype for Versus, even if it would come out on PS4. An announcement for an announcement. You know what? Talking about Square Enix really just... You know, I need to get a drink to wash this out. Oh, and just like that, my career is over because I took a sip of water during a video. So, yeah, according to CNN, I'm fucked! Overall, I think it was a pretty good showcasing of titles from all the various developers. We also did see Capcom on stage to unveil their new engine for next gen. They also showed a little gameplay of a new title called Deep Down or something. It looks like Skyrim with good graphics. Actually, it looks more like a Dragon's Dogma 2. So we can, I guess, look forward to that and all of its dislocked contentness. There were a couple of things that I guess, left out from this showcasing that you guys will probably put in the bottom, asking me what my thoughts on. So you can just comment that.